Loved the way our guys played. We were fast, physical. The effort was never in question. Did a lot of really good things. Obviously, you go into week one after being in camp for 3 weeks against yourselves. You're never quite sure what you have or don't have. So we found a lot out in that game. It was a tough ride home after losing a game where we felt like we had plenty of chances to win on the road against a top 20 team. But our guys handled it well. We've kind of flushed it and moved on, and looking forward to South Dakota Mines now. And, there's some stuff that we got to clean up, obviously. We'll have some different bodies playing different spots to try to shore up some of those deals. You go lose a tough game like that. Good football teams find a way to get better from what happened or didn't happen, and that's exactly what I think we did. No, he's been incredible since the day we recruited him. Being in the situation we were in, needing to have a kicker come in and be the guy right away, not a usual situation for us, but that's the spot we were in, and he accepted the role, was excited about the role right from the start. Got up here in July and was working out with our guys like he was a vet. So he's handled it well the entire time. He's got a huge leg. Our guys saw that right from day one. So, the team was behind him and excited about him right from the start. Whether it be the field goal in the third quarter or the one to put us into OT, the way he handled it and the maturity that he went about it with, our guys can't help but have confidence in him, and same thing with our staff. So we're lucky to have him and excited about what his future is going to be here for sure. It wasn't wide by much. He, left it out to the right a little bit. As a matter of fact, from our sideline, plenty of people thought it was in. But he just pushed it a little bit, missed by a foot maybe. It was too high off the ground to see it from the tight copy, so we couldn't see how far it was out. But he hit it well. It just it didn't hook back in like he was planning, and it happens. Yeah, there's no doubt. I felt like Ethan did play well. I wish we could have given him more chances. We were not able to stretch the field vertically at all, with some protection issues and so on. So, as an entire unit, the skill guys, whether it be the screen game that we were running or just a quick game with all the throws. I mean, I think the furthest ball that was caught downfield was 15 yards. And still throw for almost 300 yards, not being able to stretch the field. There's a lot of positives in that. We got to find a way to get Michie involved. He made 2 huge catches down the stretch, one to keep us on the field in the 2-minute, and then the other one to get us into the field goal range to tie it. So I have said for a long time, our wide receiver group right now is as talented and as deep as we've been. In order for those guys to go do what they're going to do, you got to be able to run the football. You got to be able to stay ahead of the chains. We had way too many penalties that put us behind the sticks, and so in order for those guys to be able to push it downfield and stretch the field from that standpoint, you got to be able to run it because you got to be able to get to your play action game and so on and so forth. So we will get that fixed up and count on those guys being difference makers for the whole fall. Well, last year everything went right. Everything he threw up, somebody caught. And he played really well in that game. I felt like he played well on Saturday or Thursday as well. Excuse me. Again, it was not a clean pocket. We as a staff, as a guy calling the plays, we've got to make those adjustments quicker in terms of trying to help out the front with what we were doing with protections. But it was. When he had time to throw the football, he and the receivers or the tight ends, tailbacks, did a really nice job. I thought we had an advantage with our skill and their back end. Having said that, there wasn't a ton of time for him to be back there. He was scrambling quite a bit, made some plays with his feet, but some of the plays that he made with his feet on third downs to keep us on the field, there was a holding penalty or, something happened from that standpoint. So There was some throws that he wishes he had back as a senior Q, right? You want to make them all, especially on the short ones, right? Those are what we call layups or, automatics, right? You got to be able to make those throws. Regardless of how the game's going, second year starting Q, he'll be the first one to tell you that he wants to make all those throws, not just 95% of them. So, but overall, I thought he played really well. Kept his head the whole time, he'll be better for it here moving forward. Everything we talk about around here, bend, don't break. I thought we did that for most of the game. If we could have got that score right before half on the out and up, we had D-Will behind coverage, by 5 yards. We ended up not getting anything out of that. It was just one of those games, right? You're in a tight game with a good team. You just need that one more score to turn the whole thing into now they're in chase mode the whole time. We felt like they weren't going to beat us throwing the football, and they didn't. They had the one obviously at the end of the game, but it was if we could have taken the run away from them, we felt good about what was going to happen if they had to throw it. Unfortunately, it got to the point where you're up 10-0. They answer it with 3. We couldn't get the next score to stretch the lead a little bit to where they had to start pressing. They were able to start leaning on us a little bit with their run game, having a veteran O-line. And, ultimately, those couple drives in the second half, we just couldn't get off the field. They're converting 3rd and longs and extending drives. Our guys are getting tired and so on and so forth. So, we got to find a way, as good as we played defensively, we still need to find ways to get to the Q. We didn't have a sack. We had the 2 turnovers, which was awesome. But to help out our back end in coverage, we've got to get home every once in a while, hit the Q and make sure he knows that he can't just stand back there comfortably. So we'll get that cleaned up. We weren't far off. Sips was home almost a couple times throughout the game, and we're not far with some of the games we were playing up front on the D-line. Coach Thomas talked a lot about it here this week about, we're just one step late, or, some of the angles we're taking with some of our games to get people home. We're just, a little bit slow to react from that standpoint. But at the same time, right, you're playing some new guys in our scheme up front, and we'll get all that cleaned up. I love how our guys played on defense. No, absolutely not. Playing man coverage, is that what you're referring to? Nope. So, look, when you go first in overtime, you got to find a way to put points on the board, whether that be a field goal or a touchdown. We didn't do either of them. So at that point, playing a team that's got a good kicker, they're starting at the 25. You have to be aggressive in our heads, at least at that time of the game, to where we didn't want to give up chunk runs to get it in. So you're playing a little bit more aggressive in the back end and trying to make sure we match up the box to fit up the run. And unfortunately, that was one of the 2 times in the entire game they got behind us. Kid threw a great ball. Receiver made a great play on the ball. And, our defensive back on that play was not far away. We were close to getting the safety over the top. They just made a play. It is what it is. But, it's easy to second guess anything, right? If you play off and lighten up the box, at that point they had run for 175 yards. They're probably just going to do the same thing and take chunks that way. So you pick your poison. Unfortunately, they made a play, and it is what it is. Nope, only because we played Thursday night last week. So we're on days-wise, it's the same thing. Obviously, our Friday is a Monday, Saturday is a Tuesday, so on and so forth. But the guys have done a nice job with the odd weeks and back-to-back weeks, handling coming into camp early for the week 0 game. From that standpoint, I don't think it affects us at all. The one thing that I'm most proud about with the guys is, you lose a game against a top 20 team in overtime on the road. We felt like we had plenty of chances to win that game. Our guys were hurt afterwards. Our staff was. That was a long, quiet ride home, arriving back to the SEC at a little after 6 a.m. By the time we got them back on Saturday, we put the film to bed, and the guys have moved on. Like I said earlier, if we're going to be a good football team and be able to rely on the amount of guys that we have coming back on offense and defense, you learn from those games. You don't let it beat you twice. So it's a big week for us coming up to be able to move past that and take what we did last week and take that next jump right from week 1 to week 2 of what good teams should do. Yeah, there's no question. I think it's important for the entire team to start early. It doesn't matter who's on the field first. We've got to be able to set the tone. You're at home for the first time all fall. We're in our normal routine. They're taking a 2-day trip to get here, starting fast, whether that be special teams, offense, or defense. That's important for the entire football team. So, our guys know that. We've been emphasizing that, and I'm confident that we will show up on Thursday night and play this with the same intensity and physicality we did last weekend. Yeah, well, that place was unlike any place we've played with replay up to this point. A little bit of an older stadium, very cool setup on the water, and but they didn't have the monitors in the press box. So on the challenges they made, and then the one that we made going into the game tying drive, you're going off a field. What did you see on the field? We didn't have any kind of checking system upstairs with the guys up there. So that part was different than what we've dealt with a year ago. Just having replay at this level now is huge for us. Obviously, if we didn't have it, or if the cameras would have been down, they ruled the catch that Michie had in that 2-minute drive incomplete. So it ended up benefiting us in a big way at that point.